Hey, welcome back everyone to the ARC channel. It's been a while. Hope everyone's doing well. I have not seen my own channel in a while. I've been really busy, so I apologize for the absence, but hopefully everything's been going well for everyone here. That being said, let's get to a little bit of business that I wanted to talk about with everyone. The NBA Finals are here, and I haven't really had the chance to talk or really sit down and speak to anyone, but I thought we'd reflect on what's going on and what our predictions are ahead of the finals. It's going to be an exciting series, right? You've got first of all, a bunch of new faces, man. We don't see LeBron anymore. There's no KD. There's no Steph. It's a new era. It really is the dawn of a new era. A lot of young guys. Everybody, I think the oldest. I mean, amongst the superstars, Kyrie obviously is the oldest one here. He's 32, but Luka, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all are under 28, 26, and 25 respectively. Or Luka's 25, I'm sorry. Jason Tatum, 26. Jaylen Brown, 28, right? Young guys. It's going to be exciting to see what they bring. This will be the first final where we actually will have a brand new winner in terms of the younger generation, right? It's either Luka or Jason Tatum, and you can consider Jaylen Brown. Actually, interestingly enough, I know a lot of people, push Jason Tatum to be the best player for the Celtics. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great player. I'm in the minority. I do think Jaylen Brown does seem to be at least their most consistent. And if you're the most consistent and always seem to show up the most, I feel like that's a strong argument to be made as you being the best player for the team as well, right? Jaylen Brown has a strong argument. I just don't think he gets the respect or the attention that he deserves. But you can tell that he's been the best Celtics player these playoffs. Yes, Jason Tatum's leading the team in a lot of stats. We get that. But if there are moments for the Celtics where they really needed a star to come through, if you look it up, you'll notice that it's Jaylen Brown really just coming through. I mean, there's a reason why he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, right? So that being said, yeah, in my opinion, again, I think Jaylen Brown really is their best player. He may not be as flashy as Tatum or as lanky, et cetera, that typical length, width, that height that most stars have, but he is pretty consistent. He's not as flashy. I understand that, but let's talk about the matchup. That being said, so obviously on the other hand, the Mavs have been amazing, right? The Celtics have had a pretty easy route, most people say, in the playoffs. They were 12-2 overall. The Mavs, on the other hand, man, they had a first round. I can't remember what the series went to. 6 against the Clippers, I believe. 6, and then 5 against the Thunder and 5 against the Wolves, or 6 against the Thunder, 5 against the Wolves. It's been a little while. The playoffs feel like they've been going on forever, but Mavs have been pretty impressive. Their defense has been super impressive. Ironically, the Celtics, who used to be kind of they've known for their defense previously, they've actually been okay this year on defense. I mean, giving up a lot of points in the playoffs too. Even with the Pacers, I mean, it's not like they were blowing them out. They were actually pretty high-scoring games. Pacers kept up with them. Actually, I'm looking at the Celtics defensive rating, round 1 against the Miami Heat. Again, the Heat was missing almost half their stars, right? They're missing Terry Rozier and Jimmy Butler. The defensive rating for the Celtics was 100.7. Okay, that's very good. The next 2 rounds, 111.7 and 114.8. That is quite high for them. I mean, it's not too far off again compared to what the Mavs have done. But the Mavs have consistently maintained around 110, 111 defensive rating. So it just seems like, for the most part, Mavs have kept their opponents' points per game to a lot lower number than the Celtics have against their opponents. I would have to pull up some games, but I think they've allowed a lot more points. But that being said, again, Jason Tatum's been great for his team. Luka, on the other hand, I mean, the guy is just absolutely killing it this year. He is the best player in the playoffs so far, leading the 2024 playoffs in points, rebounds, assists, steals, three-pointers made, field goals made, free throws, and minutes played. I mean, this guy's an absolute monster. I mean, Luka's, for me, I think right now he's definitely, I would consider him the best player in the league. He does have to win a title to really, strongly convince everyone and really win that title of the best player in the league, outwardly and very, without any doubts, he's going to have to win the NBA title for that to take place. It seems like nowadays the trend is that you really can't be considered the best player in the league until you won a title in that year, right? Next year, if somebody comes in and wins the title, they might give him that. It's just the best player in the league kind of changes year to year a little too fast. Aside from LeBron, I mean, LeBron's reigned forever, but outside of that, since he's gotten older, it's finally moved around to Giannis, Jokic, Luka, and maybe that's how it was or it has been in the league previously too. It's just that because LeBron's reign has been forever, and he's arguably the greatest player of all time, it's a little different. But now afterwards, the doors have opened up for so many players that the discussion involves so many different players when it comes to best player in the league. And so either way, this matchup's going to be interesting. The Mavs obviously rely on Luka and Kyrie. They're two guards, right? Now they have a bunch of very, I would say, good role players. Both teams have really good role players, right? Mavs, they're going to need P.J. Washington to hit the threes that he hits. Derek Jones Jr. To do his part, and obviously he's going to be very heavily relied on him and P.J. both on defense against Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. As to Luka and Kyrie, on the other hand, the Celtics, they're going to need Derek White, Drew Holiday most likely to step up and put some, you're not going to stop Luka, Kyrie, Jason Tatum, or Jaylen Brown, right? They're going to get theirs. It's just a matter of just making it harder for them. And, for the Celtics, they can't put Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown on either Luka or Kyrie. If they do, those guys are going to be tired out. And where's your offense coming from, right? Now, Celtics do have a lot more options when it comes to offensive power. Derek White can go out there and give you 25, 30. I mean, Drew Holiday can give you 25. And then obviously both of these guys are defensively amazing. But, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown definitely will be the 1 and 2 punch. And that's just the way they're going to lead when it comes to the Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis, let's see where he is. I haven't heard too much about him. They're still saying he's... Apparently, the latest announcement was that he is going to play in Game 1. But, again, you never know until you see it, right? So, Celtics off the bench. I mean, Al Horford's very experienced. Pretty impressive. His resume, obviously. He's been in the playoffs a lot. He's got a lot of experience. That's probably the most experienced player in the league in these playoffs. And then, Peyton Pritchard. The Celtics have somewhat decent bench. But their starting five is absolutely monstrous when it comes to just, what they can do, shoot from anywhere. Even Kristaps Porzingis can hit it from half court. I mean, that's amazing, right? They're going to really spread the Mavs defense. On the other hand, the Mavs are obviously looking to Luka, especially just looks to control. That is his defense. He looks to control your defense by his, just control of the game. And so Luka led the playoffs in most assists, I think, off of dunks or alley-oops, or Mavs in general. They got, 45 alley-oops or 49 alley-oops in these playoffs, and the second most was by, I think, the Nuggets maybe, or the Thunder, and they only had 9 alley-oops. So, it just comes to show that the Mavs really can control the paint. If you're getting this many amount of alley-oops, obviously that means you can draw defenders. Somebody on your team, some guy on your team can clearly control the defense so well that he can pull the defense towards him and throw up these oops for an open guy. I think the best we've seen probably is LeBron. Outside of that, Chris Paul. Those couple of guys did a great job. Even Rondo. And then now we're seeing Luka. He just is so amazing at controlling the whole field, the whole court, really. But let's see. That being said, Kyrie, honestly, the one thing, he's amazing. Obviously, he has a great resume. There's no doubt about that. Man, but we're really going to need Kyrie to be more consistent, right? He cannot have 15, 16 points, in one game and have 30, 35 the next game. No, Kyrie's going to need to be reliant. He's going to have 25. I get it. People make this there's this discussion or point that, Kyrie likes to get his teammates involved. He does focus on defense a lot right now. But, I think, yes, he focuses on defense. That's great. But you being in the finals against such a offensively gifted team like the Celtics, you're going to need your two stars to pop up, right? Top two players to just show out and play hard. That being said, the Mavs bench is actually pretty solid. I mean, Derek Lively comes off the bench, and he's amazing. Gafford is amazing, by the way. Both great defensive presence, but interestingly enough, they're going to be guarding Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps is going to really pull these dudes out of the paint. Once he draws them out of the paint, I think the Mavs are going to have to pull out a different strategy, because that leaves the lanes open for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum just drive all day and score and score and score. That's where the Mavs are going to have to figure something out. They're either going to have to close the paint, drop some sort of like defensive scheme that the Heat, for example, used against Giannis, where they would close the paint down really quickly, collapse in the paint. The defense is going to have to come up with some sort of strategy, because their big men are going to be out for the Mavs, guarding Kristaps Porzingis on the perimeter. Excuse me. And so that's going to be definitely a interesting match. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. That being said, off the bench, aside from Derek Lively, is trying to think of who. Oh yeah, Jeff Hardy and what's his name, Green. And those two guys, young dudes, can play some defense and are amazing. And you know what's crazy? Tim Hardaway Jr., man. This guy went from arguably being the Mavs' second best, maybe even at worst third best player from 2 years or 3 years ago. I mean, he was hitting threes, scoring 20, 25 every few games, to like the guy disappeared right now. I mean, that's how deep the Mavs are, right? He is deep in the playoffs. Sorry, my mic has been out of the picture, but here we are. But he's been, so important in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to what he does. I mean, if they can get some, maybe average 4 to 5 threes a game, Tim Hardaway Jr. could really win the finals for them. Mavs have so many guys that are just kind of like out of the blue, that could pop up anytime. Any young guys, especially Hardaway. I think Hardy. He's super important. These guys are pretty important to what the Mavs can do, right? But that's going to be off the bench for them. For the Celtics, the guys that are really important that can do something are already on the starting floor, and that's Drew or Derek. But it's been initially I was thinking I was leaning pretty heavily for the Mavs. After thinking about it for about a week now, it's been pretty quiet for almost a week now, yeah. So they've had a 7-day break for the Mavs, 9 for the Celtics. It's been a difficult choice. Don't get me wrong, it's been pretty difficult to pick, but I think historically I've always picked, I would say, the best player when it comes to the playoffs, to win the finals. And unless something happens like a wild injury or something, I'm going to stick with the Mavs. I think Mavs are still going to pull it out. Luka's going to really be very impressive. I think he's definitely going to have one of the most impressive playoff runs in a while. Kyrie's definitely bound to show up. Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, both are going to have an amazing run as well. There's nothing you can do, right? These guys are, they're superstars. You're not going to stop them. It's just what happens. It really is decided by the rest of the team, right? The rest of the guys really dictate whether they're going to, which team is going to win, right? What part they play really dictates which team's going to win. I'm going to stick with the Mavs at this point. My pick is Mavs. Difficult to say how many games. I definitely think 6, potentially 7. It would be a surprise for either team to win in less than 6 games. I just think because they're so close in competition and so well balanced, both sides, and how well they match up. I think obviously it's not going to be a surprise if the Celtics win. They are very talented, don't get me wrong, but I think it's just I have to stick with the Mavs, how well they've played on defense. Luka and Kyrie are definitely, Luka's the best player in these playoffs. Kyrie's probably, it's Tatum at 2, Kyrie at 3, and then. So either way, let me know how you what y'all think and who you have winning the finals. It'll be pretty exciting to see. looking forward to it. Leave some comments. Give me some feedback. What you all think. What you think. I might not be right on. I might, or you agree with me. And then, definitely always like, share, subscribe, and love to hear more from you. In the meantime, enjoy the game tomorrow night. I'll try to get back on. Maybe do a little feedback on game one, game post-game analysis. If not, I'm sure I'll see you very soon. In the meantime, enjoy, stay safe, and until next time.